Hello everyone, Jarrell from Sungrand here with Breath of Thunder. This is the game for which I am currently running a Kickstarter campaign so we can fund this game to allow it to be developed. It's about halfway done being made. All the programming is completely finished. All that's left is just the world building and putting the events in. I'm using an internal in-studio RPG framework that allows me to very quickly build complex, rich, deep RPGs. So today I want to share with you the process of programming character animation. So I said that the programming is finished for all of the RPG elements. That's totally finished. The battle system, the menu, all of that's totally finished. The only kind of programming I need is just auxiliary minor things like animations. So today I will be working on the animation that will allow the character to blink. Basically, the basic functions will let you can specify the character to blink, and then also you can pass that logic into the game events so that when you need the character's expression to change, like when they enter battle, you can have them express anger, or when they get defeated, their eyes can close. So this is going to be pretty simple, really. When it comes to development, something you really have to keep in mind is that you are not actually making something happen. I think, well, I know for a fact so many people get stuck on their projects because they don't really fully understand that. They think that they're actually literally making something. When it comes to game development, you are not actually making anything. You are representing the idea of something happening. So let's see. It's pretty simple to make something like this happen. We want to just be able to access a list of renderers here. So first I'm going to start out. I need to grab all of the renderers. Oh, actually, let's make that materials. Um, so that we want to access all the materials. There's multiple materials on the character's face, and we want to just grab that from a single renderer. So public renderer. This kind of thing normally takes a while to do, but I've been developing for so long that when you know what you want to accomplish, you can get it done very quickly here. So I'm just going to very quickly, and you can see it in real time as I get this as well. But first we'll do the setup face, and that will allow us to grab all the information we need from the face. And we need an integer, public integer face. No, this is material ID. That will let us pick exactly which material is on that render. So I'll let you know what that is in just a moment. Void, okay, and we are going to go perform blink. Now the reason I'm able to develop so quickly is that I've been doing this for a very long time, and you start to develop the more you do this, the stronger understanding you have of, again, you need to understand you're not actually making something, you're representing that, and you're using your development environment as a tool to express that something is happening. Okay, so this is going to be something that we can call repeatedly. So again, we're going to go public float, and we'll say blink interval. Okay, by default, let's say blink once every 5 seconds, right? Okay, so then let's go ahead and just move that off screen for a moment, and we are going to attach that to our character here just so I can very quickly explain what's happening to you here. Okay, so on our character render, this is the renderer of the face here. Let's see here. So we go back to our Thunder Motion engine. That should populate that now. You press F, you head to the head, and I need to reference the renderer. So now it's referencing the render here. If I were, I'm going to do something kind of horrifying here. I'm warning you for I'm warning you. Okay, so if I replace the face there, okay, so the face is gone. So we know that element number 1 is where we have the face stored. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and store material ID 1 in there. It's going to populate the materials based on the renderer. Okay, and we also need some logic as well. Here we have the material ID blink interval 5 seconds. Okay, so now I like to give myself a little bit of space here just to make it easier to look at in the editor. So I will go public, let's see, texture, a public texture. This is actually going to be an array, so I'm going to have to specify some logic here, but it's going to be pretty simple. So I'm going to say face textures, right? Okay. Let's go ahead and fix that guy, why don't we? Okay. And this will allow us, so like say for example, for now I'll just go like 1 equals normal, 0 is normal, 1 equals blink, and of course later on you can go like 2 happy, 3 equals sad, 4 equals angry, 5 equals, you could put whatever you want in there just as long as you build that um, for yourself. That is your style guide. You need to define that in your sort of your Bible, your dictionary. I don't want to use the word Bible in case some people don't really want to use that word. You can say your dictionary. You know. So to start out, we want to set up our face. So we're going to go ahead and call that, and we just want to check for if the renderer is not null. Okay. Actually, no. Well, no, no, no. We'll do this. Okay, so if it's null, this is going to prevent any errors that can happen in game. Then render is equal to get component renderer. So if I forgot to assign that manually, if you assign it manually, it saves that. There's some processing overhead here. It's minor, but if that runs, if you have a bunch of things running that, and if it's happening repeatedly, that will cause frame drops. And then I'm just gonna like cheat here. I'm just gonna copy and paste instead of having to type that all over again. Okay. So then after that, we'll go materials. I'm gonna cheat again just to save myself typing like 2 things. Materials is equal to renderer face dot get components. Get components? No, no, no. It's dot materials. Materials. I don't know why I left that in there. That was silly. There we go. Kind of show off in front of my internet friends, aren't I? Okay, so now we've set up our face, and what we want to do now is invoke repeating perform blink. Okay, so that means that every 5 seconds, the character will try to blink. Okay, and we have our blink interval. So go ahead and put that in there and in there and perform blink. So then we put the logic here. So we'll go ahead and we'll grab materials and we'll say materials and material ID, which we assigned as 1, but different characters have different faces with different layouts there. So we need to have that in there. Dot set texture string name dot main texture get set dot main texture. Let's see. Is equal to face textures. Okay, and we know that, okay, so we've already defined for ourselves that 1 will be blink, and then of course we want to return, we want to reset the blink, okay? So perform blink and reset blink. These are all shortcuts. I'm copying and pasting. It saves me just a little bit of typing, Okay, we'll reset that. So now what we want to do is we want to invoke. So before you call an invoke in this kind of situation, you always want to cancel the invoke first, or you're going to have repeating invokes, which is problematic. So we're going to go ahead and cancel that, and then we're going to invoke again, reset link, and something like 0.2. Otherwise, that's 0.2 of a second, right? Okay, and we'll reset the link, and that will bring them back to 0. So I'm kind of thinking this logic should work, but we're going to find out pretty quickly here if it works or not. So we need to make sure that we assign our materials now. So let's go ahead and wait. And if there are any issues, then the console will tell us. I'm using Unity 5, which is quite an old version of Unity. To be honest, the newer versions of Unity are so slower. They're fine, but they're so slow that they actually slow me down. They just have moments where they hiccup, they sit, and for me, it is noticeable that it does actually slow down my workflow. So this is face close. I prepared these ahead of time. But I'll go ahead and just open them, so I'll show you what they look like. So I have to do different versions as well for different eyebrow colors. Like, for example, his eyebrows are supposed to be blue, which means I have to remake a version of these faces. Brown is the default eyebrow color. I'm going to have to go in there and put blue in for the eyebrows, okay, like that, thusly. Okay, So let's go ahead and go back to our face there, and we just want to say closed and 0. Okay, actually it should be 1. Technically it should be 1 because his eyebrows are supposed to be um, blue. So let's go ahead and go back to that. And then in there, I'm just going to go ahead and assign that. Right, so let's go ahead and run the logic. And we'll see if it works. And if something's wrong, we'll have to figure out what is wrong with the logic. Okay, we're going to hit the run button and let's see what happens. So every 5 seconds, it should change his eyeball to a blink. Hey! Hey! Have a look at that. It works. So there you go. Right, so that is all of the logic. I'm not exactly sure. I wasn't looking at the time here. Let's go ahead and not maximize on play. Let's go ahead and just, have a closer look at our character. It's always going to look better through the game view because of all the post-processing and the rendering there. So there you can see that the character blinks every 5 seconds and his eyes stay closed for 0.2 seconds. And of course, for every character, you can define that. So to finish developing this system, it would not be very difficult for me to do again. I want to just pass that Thunder emotion engine into my Eventide framework, which is the name of my RPG framework. I pass that over to the event system, and I just build a set of controls so that during events, the character's facial expressions can change. And how I would do that, of course, is all of these extra faces. I would just put them into this database here. And then, of course, we add a little bit of logic. So, of course, we can do this. There's a couple ways to do it, and I'm going to do it, I think, a nice, clean way. You can check out the video if you want because we got our blinking working. That's what you came here to see. But just to be a little bit masterful, we can go ahead and let's see. Let's see. We'll go public enum. Face emotion. Okay. We'll say neutral. We can say, I'm just going to have a look at the list here, angry, annoyed, happy, surprised, and closed. Closed. There. So that leaves us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now that'll make it easier. We can pass face emotion in my event system. So there you go. That's something that, it realistically, if I wasn't doing a video, that would have only taken me like a minute, honestly. But that sort of thing takes years and years to develop. But basically, when it comes to game development, it doesn't matter what game engine I'm using. It doesn't matter what programming language. That sort of expertise, that proficiency is stuff that you develop over years. So it doesn't matter if I'm making this for the Atari Jaguar or the Dreamcast or the Saturn. That sort of ability to do that, you saw how quickly I was able to do that. I didn't have that prepared ahead of time, but that's something that I had prepared ahead of time in my soul. It's something that I was just able to do. So let's go ahead and we'll apply that now. I'll go ahead and apply that now that everything works okay. Let's go ahead and run the game now, and what I will do is, let's see here, we'll maximize on play. And we'll just make sure that we can run around and we'll see that working. Hey, okay, all right. So I have to manually prepare different facial expressions for the other characters, facial expressions. That sort of blinking just makes things feel more alive, when you can have characters respond to things in the environment and an emotional reaction to certain things, and you can have their facial expressions change. So I need to adjust that camera system because the post-processing turns off when it switches like that, but not a big deal. That's only going to take a couple of minutes for me to do. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that process. I hope that was interesting for you. I will be sharing this teaser soon. This will be a playable teaser. This is called a vibe check. It will let you decide whether or not the vibe of the game is what you're looking for. If you like the graphics, the music, the style of storytelling, you'll be able to see that. So it's not going to be like huge gameplay. It's what I call a vibe check. So thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more of this, please let me know. And of course, if you want this game to actually be made, then please support the Kickstarter, and also please share the Kickstarter. If you can, tell your favorite content creators to take a look at the game, to talk about the game. We really need to be farther ahead in terms of where we are in the Kickstarter right now. I need 6 months in order to complete this game. So the funding needs to cover 6 months of development at the bare minimum. And if we don't have 6 months of funding, then I won't be able to make this game at all. So if this is not Kickstarted, this game won't be made. And the reason being is that I run my own studio, and I constantly have to keep launching new games in order to keep bringing money into my studio so I can keep my studio financially afloat. So yeah, if you want this to be an actual real game, a full game, please support the Kickstarter and share the Kickstarter. And if you do want to see more of this behind the scenes stuff where I just make things, and you can see how the game is actually made, then please let me know, and I'll be happy to share that with you. Okay, take care of yourselves, and I will check in again soon. See ya.